Yo, what's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we are going to be talking about crypto again, about Dogecoin, and this is probably going to be the last video for a long time on Dogecoin just because I don't want to keep making videos on Dogecoin and stuff. It's getting kind of boring, and I don't think there's going to be huge news coming up with Dogecoin. Unless something massive happens, then I might make a video on it, but this is probably going to be the last video about Dogecoin for a while. But it's going to be something just talking about Dogecoin, these ridiculous price predictions, and how the price needs to be sustained for it to, in order to hit these price targets that everyone's throwing out. People are throwing out ridiculous things like the $3,000 if it matching Ethereum. I mean, just not even possible. But I'm going to talk about the buying pressure needed to sustain the price of Dogecoin and how it's going to, I think, going to slowly bleed off as hype dies down, because it's super trendy and that pushes the price up, brings in a ton of volume, and then when Elon slows down, stops tweeting about it, there's no SNL looking forward to. Maybe Tesla accepts it as payment and that'll be like a rally for a little bit, but there's really nothing much for Dogecoin to look forward to, which is a big problem for Dogecoin itself, because it's not a coin that really does well without a bunch of hype and trendiness to it. It's a meme coin after all. So just some math. We all know Dogecoin makes 10,000 coins per minute. That's how their blocks work. So that brings the total made per day to just over 14 million, at 14.4 million Dogecoin made per day. And we can look at right now, if taking about 50 cents, I don't know the price exactly, but we're going to do 50 cents. To sustain that, it needs a minimum of $7.2 million in buying pressure daily just to sustain that price, not to go up in price, just to make sure that it doesn't drop below that price. So people saying that Dogecoin can hit $1, it definitely can hit $1, but sustaining $1 is another story, where you would need that $14.4 million per day in pure buying pressure. And we can look at Dogecoin's volume per day right now, which is at just over $15 million. So you can see the selling pressure coming in. Otherwise, it would be, if it's all buying pressure, then it would be worth $1 right now. But that's where you get into more of that math, where if there's obviously there's going to be selling pressure, the more that comes, the more buying pressure needs to be. So to sustain $1, if it gets there, it needs 14 million in buying pressure alone, on top of whatever the selling pressure is. The selling pressure adds to it. So the more selling pressure, the more buying pressure needed to sustain a price. And you can see the volume is down over 9%. You know, that's like hype dying down. I think it's going to be a slow bleed for Dogecoin. I don't think it's going to like plummet overnight, but it's going to be like 50 cents now, maybe 53, 54, down to 48, up to 52, down to 46, and it's going to be like that slow bleed out over time until it finds somewhere where it's going to hover, where there's the people willing to buy it, where the buying pressure can outweigh selling and sustain a price. But then when you talk about Dogecoin inflating 10,000 per minute, you're going to need more money to reattain this 50 cent mark. If it trades sideways for 3-4 months, you're going to need a lot more money to just get back to 50 cents if it drops below that substantially, and then, you know, trade sideways at like 40 cents or something. But then just to compare that to Bitcoin, obviously they're not similar at all, at all, but at 56,500, we're just gonna use that benchmark. Bitcoin would need $50 million, almost $51 million to sustain that, which is what we see. We see a lot of volatility with Bitcoin, as any crypto, obviously, but when it's been trading sideways for a couple months now, Bitcoin, so obviously there's been that constant inflow kind of stabilizing the price, and I think we're going to see a next move up, but that's what stabilizing the price is: less selling pressure and equal buying pressure, keeping the price where it is. And then we see big moves up and down, you know, but ultimately it's about traded sideways for the past like 3 months. So that's like sustaining a price. And obviously you can't compare Bitcoin to Dogecoin with like the sustaining type deal, because Dogecoin will always have 10,000 coins per minute. That's how their blockchain works, how it's created. Bitcoin has a halving involved, so in the next halving in 4 years, the price of Bitcoin might be higher than this, so obviously the dollar amount will change. But it's saying it's the same price, there'd be a halving, meaning instead of 50 million, it'd be 25 million to sustain that price, which means if you're doing 50, you could double the price, depending on selling pressure and stuff. But it's a lot more store value, gold 2.0, you know, people compare it to that, and it can act like that, a scarce asset in reality. And the final thing about Dogecoin that worries me when I look at it, and I think it should worry a couple people as well, is the amount of Dogecoin wallets that control more than 1% of all circulating Dogecoin. So here's the wallet addresses here. I'm going to not count the first one because it could be, a lot of people theorize it as it being Robinhood's account. So we'll do benefit of the doubt and say that it's Robinhood's account and 30% or 28% of the coins isn't like controlled by one person. It's just controlled by a big entity with a lot of people involved in it. So throwing that aside, you can see the next top 8 wallets, so 7 wallets have over 1%. The second one has almost 4%, and the 7th one has just over 1%. But that's a lot of coins to be held by one person, and to be so few people to have that, they could, in terms, come together. They could be the same person with different wallet addresses, but they could come together and make bad things happen for the market, or do things that they want to see happen with the price and everything. And if they came together, they could control 15% of Dogecoin, which is a lot when you think about controlling how much supply there is. It's definitely something that if you use it, you can show your weight in Dogecoin if you're controlling that much of the supply. Then we can compare that to Bitcoin, because that's what we've been doing this video. Obviously, we'll throw out the top one again, because there's rumors that it's Binance. I mean, you can see it's the Binance cold wallet, it says. But there's rumors that it's a Binance holding for customers. So we'll throw that one out, just like we did with Dogecoin. And you can see the rest of them, nobody has 1% of Bitcoin. So it's a lot more people who would need to come together and try and get 15% or something to match Dogecoins, as compared to like the 7 people, or they could be more than one, but we'll say 7 people. Bitcoin, no one has over 1%, so it would be a lot harder for people to come together, and it would take a lot more people, and in theory their ideals wouldn't add up, all of them, and it just would get messy. So that's something to worry about or think about if you're in Dogecoin and love Dogecoin long term, that there is a lot of people who own more than 1% of the supply. I see it as kind of a problem. Maybe you don't, who knows, but it's definitely something to at least think about. So when thinking about Dogecoin, be a little wary. Try and do math when you see people say one Dogecoin can be $3,000. That's just never going to happen. The amount of money it would need is astronomical. It's like $300 quintillion or something in a market cap to reach 3,000. It's just not going to happen. But everyone who got in Doge, congrats. Maybe think about taking some profits off the table now. If you think there's going to be a slow bleed, I really think that could happen. Even if you strongly believe in Dogecoin, at the end of the day, it is a meme coin. It is something that's trendy, that people rally behind at certain times. And when people aren't rallying, the price is going to drop, and it's going to be more substantial drop now because of the level it's at. So it's at 50 cents, as before the other drops were like 7 cents, where it would drop down to 2 cents and people wouldn't even think about it. But if it goes from 50 cents down to 10 cents, it's gonna ruin a lot of people who've got in it, like during this SNL time, and I can see it getting kind of messy. So Be careful out there with Dogecoin. And as always, guys, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. You're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. See you guys in my next video.